Friends, the question before us tonight is, what defines marriage? And the answer is, nature defines marriage. The great force of nature that brings male and female together to create new life. That is what defines marriage. It is not a social definition. It is not a religious definition. It is a social and religious recognition of a pre-existing biological reality, male, female, offspring. The great anthropologist Claude Lévi-Strauss defined marriage as a social institution built on a biological foundation, end quote. Now, there are two facts only that you need to know. One is that there is no more certain fact in social science, none, no more settled science than this, that children do best in almost every parameter when raised by their married biological parents. This is 50 years of research. It is not open to dispute. Therefore, by definition, if you take away one or other biological parent with same-sex marriage, you have statistically diminished the situation for that child. Then you get specific questions. There have been a bundle of second-rate, small, unrepresentative, biased studies which the media love because it says that lesbian couples raise kids as well as anyone else and probably better than married biological couples. Fine. Scientifically, it's an embarrassment. There are only 8 studies in this entire field that meet the scientific requirements of unbiased selection group and statistically significant size. And of those 8 studies, 4 find no difference between same-sex and parents, and 4 find harm to the child. That's highly significant. The most recent study was in February this year, the largest of all by Sullins, and it found that there was a 4-fold increase in serious emotional harm to children raised in same-sex households versus those raised by their biological parents. Social science is a very fluid thing. But while those findings stand, no lawmaker can put their name to a new institution called same-sex marriage, which is, on the evidence and on common sense and on testimony, going to cause deep grief to children. This is the first of the 2 big motivations for the whole homosexual revolution. And this one has direct relevance to Archbishop Porteous. This is that once you get homosexual marriage in law, you have the big stick of anti-discrimination law to silence the churches and silence all conscientious objectors. And that is what we will see increasingly. It's terrifying how much is happening around the world, but we will continue to see more. So as you know here, we had Rodney Croom issue a fatwa that Archbishop Porteous was to be taken to the Anti-Discrimination Commission, and it's duly happened by a Greens candidate, I believe. And the next picture, Angela Shanahan, the journalist, wrote these rather scathing words: "Since when has teaching your children what you and most of the world's population believe to be right been a thought crime?" So gay people have the right to live as they choose, but they do not have the right to silence others who disagree with them on marriage or on sexual right and wrong. Penny Wong, the senator, in her debate with Cory Bernardi last week, made out that the bakers and the wedding cake people and the photographers who are being silenced, well, obviously us lesbian couples just won't go to a baker who doesn't want to make us a cake. That is exactly wrong. They will deliberately find the baker who doesn't want to put a gay marriage slogan on the cake. They will, in order to destroy that family business. They've done it in Ireland, to the Ashbys, they've done it in America, and they will continue to do it. This is the power of tolerance, ladies and gentlemen. This is the other great stick that they want. I respect it. This is a political agenda they have, and I respect how they're doing it. But what they want is, once you normalise homosexual marriage in law, schools must teach that homosexual behaviour is no different to a child's mum and dad. It must be taught as explicitly as heterosexual sex. And already we have foretastes of this. Next one, Justin. With our Safe Schools campaign that's being rolled out through the country. On page 10 of the Oh My God, I'm Queer booklet, 2014 edition, I won't read you the worst of it, but this is going to school kids. One little example: I'm bisexual, so I ended up thinking of myself as having 2 virginities. My first time with a chick and my first time with a dude. This is being paid for by government funds to our children across the country. This is the influence that is coming on our kids' sex education. Now, at the moment, we can object, but next picture, as this couple in Massachusetts found when gay marriage came in, you lose the right to object. Rob and Robin Worthland said, after Massachusetts legalised gay marriage, our son came home and told us the school taught him that boys can marry other boys. He's in second grade. We tried to stop public schools teaching him about gay marriage, but the courts said we had no right to object or pull them out of class. Next one, thanks, Justin. Just coming to the end now. So, is it honest that we not be told what the intention is of the gay lobby? Let me read a quote by Masha Gessen at the Sydney Writers' Festival in 2012, a lesbian activist. Quote, "Fighting for gay marriage generally involves lying about what we are going to do with marriage when we get there. Because we lie that the institution of marriage is not going to change. That is a lie. The institution of marriage is going to change, and it should change, and again, I don't think it should exist." End quote. And the next picture, an Australian activist, Dennis Altman, he doesn't want marriage, gay marriage, to have anything to do with sexual faithfulness. And he says, there are virtually no long-standing monogamous gay relationships, speaking as a gay man. I happen to think this is a good thing. I would love to have the people who are out there arguing for same-sex marriage say, let's be clear, marriage is about emotional commitment to another person. It doesn't mean I won't F around, says Dennis Altman at the Sydney Writers' Festival. Michelangelo Signorile urges gays, quote, to fight for same-sex marriage and its benefits, and then, once granted, redefine the institution of marriage completely. And as Chief Justice John Roberts was quoted earlier, there is an inevitable logic from gay marriage to group marriage. He says, it was quoted, I won't re-quote it, but an Australian journalist and polyamorist, Rachel White, says, I do think we need to address same-sex marriage before we move forward and look at polyamorous marriage, end quote, group marriage. Because if you cannot restrict marriage to different genders, how can you restrict it to just a random number? If 2 or 3 or 4 people love each other and are committed to each other, who are we to say no to their love? Because love knows no boundaries. This is a revolution. This is a revolution that will leave marriage and relationships unrecognisable, and we are being lied to that nothing will change. Just the final quick clip. Thanks, Justin.
Marriage equality, no consequences. Wait a minute.
Meet the world's first gay married throuple. Married lesbian threesome expecting first child. UK Green leader Natalie Bennett is open to the idea of three-way weddings. And here in Australia,
I do think that we need to address same-sex marriage before we do move forward and look at polyamorous marriage.
Marriage equality, no consequences. Wait a minute.
Authorised Steve Gage, Australian Marriage Forum, Brisbane.
And then the final question is, why does all this have to change? What is the great injustice that is being righted by gay marriage? Next slide, thanks, Justin. Is it even necessary? Since now, in Australia, all couples have identical benefits. Australian law treats all couples the same, whether married or de facto, heterosexual or homosexual. Here we have Tanya Plibersek, the Labor Party leader, who confirmed in May this year, quote, we changed 85 laws in 2008, removed every piece of legal discrimination against gay men, lesbians and same-sex couples on the statute books, to which Senator Abetz can nod and agree because it was a bipartisan decision to clear away any unjust discrimination. Gay couples have full relationship equality right now. Full. Next picture you might recognise. This was the first couple of Australia, Ms Gillard and Tim Matheson. A gay couple in Australia has the identical status in law as this couple, the identical benefits in law. And guess what? Neither the gay couple nor this fine first couple need a marriage certificate to have equality. They have it without marriage. So full relationship equality. But the relationship of couples to a child is a different question. And that is why some states do not allow same-sex adoption, same-sex surrogacy. So in summary there, same-sex marriage makes it impossible for a child to have a mother and a father. That is discrimination against children. Same-sex couples have all the liberties and benefits of a married couple, but we have to stop short of marriage and parenting, because that's not just about civil equality, that is about a deep natural reality, mother, father, child, which we must not neglect, we must not destroy. And I would just say that all of us are the ones who can make a difference. So I've spoken a little long and over time, but thank you so much. Thank you for having me here. And please remember, this is the motto to take away: marriage gives every child a mum and a dad. Same-sex marriage makes that impossible. That is an injustice against the child.